Good morning, Eti. Can you hear me? I'm fine, Eti. Sorry, your voice is it's your sound is not so good. It's not clear to hear you. I barely can hear you. There is some noise. I don't know. Yes, Eti, I can hear you. I can hear you, but the quality of the sound is not good yet. Not yet, yet. I don't know. I don't know. For me, it's not good. It's difficult to understand what you say. It's difficult. Hello, Felipe. Good morning. Eti was talking that the
Hello,
quality of the sound
Rodrigo.
was not good, so I mentioned this to
Hello.
her, and she tried to connect her voice better because it's difficult to hear Eti.
Hello, Rodrigo, can you hear me? Hello?
Hello.
Hello, Felipe, can you hear?
Yes, now it's better, Eti, I guess.
Thank you. So you have a clear sound now?
It's not so clear, but it's better than the beginning.
Not so
It's
clear,
not.
but it's okay. It's not so clear, but better than. Let's see what
Yes,
we
but
can
it's
do.
okay. It's
It
okay.
looks
Now,
like
now I can hear you. I can understand, but it's not so clear as usual. As usual, it's a quite different. But I can understand what you say now. I can
Okay,
understand.
okay. So I hope now it's better. Good morning, Felipe, Rodrigo, Yanis, friends on YouTube. Good morning, Venus, Jesus, and Philip. I'm very happy to be here with you. Can you hear now? Do you have a better sound reception at the moment?
Clear. Now it's clear. Now it's perfect. It's perfect.
Okay, so the cable is one of the cables because we checked all the cables who are entering at the moment. So I'm very happy to hear you, to see you here. I would like to ask you, how is the weather today? In Brazil, where Yanis is, in Canada, Venus, how is the weather today?
Today
sunny
here,
and bright.
yes, the sun is shining, Etsy, but it's a little cold. The temperature is low, but it's a beautiful day here in Porto Alegre. Thank you very much. And how are you in Haifa?
Good, the sun is shining. We have a spring day. Finally, the sun comes and it's warm, not so windy, so we can enjoy like few hours of spring here. I would like to greet you with a very beautiful day that comes here at the moment. Good morning, Yanis. We are very happy to hear you. I would like to dedicate this lesson or this session to Kevin. He helped us to find the sources. He discovered a beautiful book from the Renaissance, and I would like to discuss few aspects of this book or the writer of the book or this period of Renaissance that deals with Hebrew scholars, the church, the Pope, and Luther, a German, let's say, translator who translated the Bible from Greek and from Latin to common German and change things in Europe and in the world in general. So this lesson or this session is dedicated to Kevin's health, that I hope that he will feel good and very soon and he could join us. So thank you, Kevin, and for your dedication. This is a good health from all of us. Now, Rodrigo Felipe, would you like to read about Elia Levita, the person who translate or was a teacher of the cardinal, the Italian cardinal, and later German scholars in Europe? Would you like to read about Elia Levita from Wikipedia here?
Yes, it would be a pleasure.
Thank
Elia
you.
Levita. Elia Levita, 13 February 469 to 28 January 49. Also known as Elijah Levita, Elias Levita, Eli Levita, Elia Levita, Ashkenazi, Eliyahu Levita, Eliyahu ha-Baḥur. Elia Broker was a Renaissance Hebrew grammarian, scholar, and poet. He was the author of the Bovo book, written in 507 to 508, the most popular chivalric romance written in Yiddish. Living for a decade in the house of Cardinal Gilles of Viterbo, he was one of the foremost teachers of Christian clergy, nobility, and intellectuals in Hebrew and in Jewish mysticism during the Renaissance.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Felipe. So those 2 pages were introduced to me yesterday by Kevin. This is 2 pages from his book. Please pay attention to the structure of the book. This is, let's say, this is in English on the left, of course. On the right, we have Hebrew of Elias writing. And please pay attention to the sequence of the text in Hebrew, since it's a very concise language. Everything is concise, a few sentences. The English has to spread just to explain and to expose the ideas which are so condensed in the text. One line that caught me, and we shall not now focus in the text, because on this text we can say 10 hours. One sentence caught me here that explains everything that we do. Usually we say verse in English. Let's say this is a verse. Yes, we have here an example. Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 30. We call this in English verse here. In Hebrew, we call this text pasuk. Pasuk. I will write it here. Pasuk. Pasuk. Verse. Why do we call it pasuk? From lehafsik, to pause, to stop. So what is pasuk? What is a verse? Whenever we stop. Pasuk in Hebrew comes from pasak. The root is pasak, 3 root letters, pasak, it is to stop or to make pausa. To stop, and we have here a stop at the end. Here, please pay attention, there is a question mark, please pay attention to the difference. Here we have a stop, yes, stop. Oh. So pasak is to stop or to pause, or to rest, or to park. Now, in this book, Elijah says that when Moses was reading the Torah to the sages of Israel, to the elders of Israel, to teach them, first of all, he was reading to them the Torah. And whenever he stopped, pasak, there was pasuk. So it is not just what now in our, let's say, modern time, there are here comma and here another comma and in English another comma. No, the Torah was like a sequence of letters and words without stopping. And whenever Moses stopped his reading, this was the explanation. It's like in music. Here Felipe is a musician, and whenever we make a pausa, this is already a take from the music. And I would like to exercise with you here one verse that Elijah is explaining in the pages that we saw in front of us. Here, can you please read verse 30 in English?
I can read it. Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 15, Pasuk Lamed. Are they not being beyond the Jordan, behind the way of the going down of the sun, in the land of the Canaanites that dwell in the Arba, over against Gilgal, beside the terebinths of Morel?
Thank you. So now we shall read it in Hebrew, and here we say, here is the word Jordan, Hayarden. This is the word Hayarden, and now we have, as you can see in Hebrew, there is a comma here. But Elia claims in this book that there is no comma, and Moses was reading the verse in the following way. Halo hema be'ever hayarden acharei. Halo hema be'ever hayarden acharei. This is where Elia stops, and he says that also Moses stopped here, not after the Jordan, halo hema be'ever hayarden, they are beyond the Jordan, comma, no, but halo hema be'ever hayarden, beyond the Jordan or behind the Jordan, acharei. Why is that so important? Because if we put a comma after acharei, we have a completely different understanding of the verse. I would like here to make a little map of the Jordan to explain this. It is a bit linguistic here and common sense, but we can do this together. This is the Jordan Valley, this line that connects the Lake of Galilee and the sea salt. This is the sea salt. Let's say salt, sea salt, and this is Lake of Galilee. where Jesus was walking. This is it, the little drop here in the Galilee. But the connection between those two seas, or two, yes, between the lake and the sea, is the Jordan Valley. The Jordan Valley is a border between the east and the west. This is just to locate us on the map, when the east is not a geographical east, but Kedem, what was before, or in numbers we can write it. Sorry for the connection with the board. Second, this is Kedem 144, or we can put it also as Adam or Emet, because already those words contain those numbers. Emet, truth, is, we can, depends on from which direction do we write it, and Adam. So this is what Kedem means. What was before was the human spirit and truth. Let's go back to the verse. Halo hema be'ever hayarden. Aren't they, or they are in Ever Hayarden is the, we can say, Jordan Valley, that is a bridge between east and west. When the word acharei means in English behind or after. Behind or after. But Eliyahu or Elia Levita says that Moses making comma or stop acharei because he wants to say something. What does he want to say? If he stop, he wants to teach something. What is acharei, behind or after, in Hebrew? Please pay attention to the letters and maybe you can answer yourself. 3 letters. Acher, first we have acher is other. Acher is other. And we have acharei with yod, behind or after. Now, what is the opposite of behind or after in English? Before, in front. Very good. Before, in front. How do we say this in Hebrew? You can open dictionaries. In front of or before. What is the Hebrew word for before? Very good. Lifnei. Lifnei. It holds the letters of panim, face or inner. Very good. Very good. So, according to this reading, acharei, after or behind, is what comes after the unity. Why? Please pay attention. Aleph, Chet, Resh. Please pay attention what happens to the yod. If we move the yod here and we write the yod, I will change the color. Here, what do we get?
Here.
Yes, say it again. What do we get? Which word do we get?
Echad.
Echad. Echad. So we have Echad, one, and this is the east, when everything is unite. Echad. One. But Be'ever HaYarden, behind the Jordan. So what is behind the Jordan? If here on the east of Kedem, of truth, of humanity, we have one, what do we have behind the Jordan? Here. In numbers, if here we have one, Echad,
The duality.
the duality. Very good. Is that clear? When we say it is linguistic, and in a way it's like logic. When we say after something, it means after the origin. If you remember, we were reading the text about Israel leaving Egypt, and the Egyptians are following them, and they are coming in front of the Red Sea or the Red Sea, and the angel of God travel behind them. And this angel become afterwards 72 angels. We have multiplicity or duality. Do we understand? Whenever we see the word acharei, after, it means multiplicity, duality. Is that clear? Like we say after fact in English. Now we learn about linguistic. Is this clear?
Yes, it is, and it makes me think also about the difference in the form of the letters. The Resh and the Dalet are similar,
Yes.
and there is, I guess, this law about being careful to not exchange the letters, because Echad, one, may turn into other, meaning other gods. So
Yes.
we have
Yes,
to pay
excellent.
attention to
Yes, excellent. So just to make a little historical survey here, this is his student, the cardinal. Can you please read here, Felipe, what is the name of the cardinal that Elia was teaching? He was teaching him Hebrew.
Sorry, I didn't understood.
Can you read the name of the cardinal that Elia was teaching Hebrew? Do you see the name under the picture? Do you see the screen?
Yes.
Yes. Can you read his name?
Elijah Levita.
Yes, yes. Elia was teaching him Hebrew, and once we were scanning his book about the Hebrew letters, we have a video conversation that we made, and also scholars are noticing that also the person who translated the Bible to German, this is Luther Bible, there is assumption that Luther, the one who translated the Bible to German, met with Elia in Rome. So this is Luther Bible printed in 1534. And Luther also was composing hymns, and this is his hymn book. He wrote the hymn. he translated the Bible, the New Testament and the Old Testament into German. And he called people for contemplation and to look into the words and to look into reason. Of course, there was a struggle. He had to struggle about this, about, let's say, common sense, because in those times the church and kings were looking for more power and he was looking for reason. So those are the two students. He had probably more students, but Luther was his student, and also here Viterbo, the cardinal. Where are you, Viterbo? Here, Viterbo. They reach even until the Pope, and this is a very interesting time in history because we find the Hebrew roots of the Renaissance. And I am very glad that Kevin shared those pages with me, and now I share those with you. And this session is open to questions now, and you can ask whatever you wish.
So, Elia Levita was a teacher of Martin Luther. Is that correct?
Yes, according to what I read, there is an assumption that they met in Rome, but not just according to this. 3 or 4 days ago. 4 days ago, I received a question from South Africa. It's an architect, and he was asking about one verse from Ezekiel 8:3. He says, I'm reading it, but what is there? What is there? It's fascinating, maybe this verse. And I was looking in the sources that I had. There was not so much, not in the Zohar. I ran a searching engine about everything. I didn't find anything, but a voice inside of me asked me to look into the German Bible and see what is happening in the German Bible in this verse. And to my own amazement, I found a translation of this verse, which is not a translation because it's also, he was writing a secret while translating Ezekiel 8:3. And I said to Andre, a person cannot write such a translation to German unless he have an access to the secret reading of the Bible. And this is what I intend to do with you in the next or the following session, to bring just one verse from Luther and to show that he knew what he was talking about. A person cannot write such a translation unless if he has an access to a secret. So it is very, very interesting to read it. His influence was great of Elia Levita's. He was hunted by the Germans, and he had to escape to Italy. He escaped to Padua, and then he moved again to Germany, to South Germany, to Bavaria, and he composed books and moved to Venice, lived with his family, and then he had to retreat again. It's not easy, but he managed to print, and this is a revolution. Those are revolutionary times, the Renaissance, like we are living in a very revolutionary times with the internet, because there was a print. The invention of print was at the hand of the authors, and they could print their books. And Elia is composing dictionaries that contains 4 languages: Latin, German, Hebrew, and Yiddish. Moreover, he opens dictionaries. He edits dictionaries that takes or try to make order with the vocabulary, with the words that are being used in the Babylonian Talmud. And he explained the Babylonian Talmud in a common sense to German scholars, Italian scholars, and European scholars at the time. He has access to different languages. He's mastering Aramaic as well. So he has, plus he speaks Yiddish, what is Yiddish, is a composition. Yiddish is a composition of German and Hebrew together. So this is very interesting because he is moving between countries, between regions, he is moving between languages. He edited dictionaries in different languages. He explains idea using grammatic structure of the language, because once he teaches people Hebrew grammar, they can understand the Bible and they don't have to count, so to speak, on the church, on the Pope. Because what happened since, let's say, the 4th century, since Justinianus was taking a Christian vow, while he was editing the Bible, he deleted from the New Testament deep part, because those parts who are encouraging people for self-exploration, he deleted and just left things that support the king and obedience and surrender to the and so on. So this is very, very interesting, because what he did, he opens people's eyes to logic, to search fields, semantic fields between languages, between Latin, German, Hebrew, and other languages, Aramaic, Yiddish. This is a very, very interesting topic. And he managed to meet with different people from different cultures. And all of them were really thirsty for what he could bring from the language, from the Hebrew. He lived in very interesting time, because in his time what he knew and he taught people could be also be manifest in books, because there was a print. The Gutenberg there was a printing machine. People could print books, and the understanding could have a vast expression. This is also another reason why Luria's writing were catching like a fire, because there was a print and suddenly everything is accessible to everyone. This is in the same period that Luria was living. It's a parallel time. In a way, Luria's time is the times of the Renaissance here in Tzfat, in the north of Israel. So here in Europe, it is most common to identify Renaissance because there were painters, musicians, poets, writers, printing. Europe is big, is a continent, and Israel is a very small dot on the map. But those are parallel times. And Luria's idea expanded because a sage or wise man bribed one of his student, Chaim Vital, or one of his family. He didn't want to deliver the knowledge or the writings, but somebody managed to bribe him to copy the book. The book was smuggled to Italy. In Italy there was printing, and those ideas were catching all over the place. So please pay attention, because everybody is like very warm and enthusiastic about Luriani Kabbalah or Luria. Everything is fine, but those teaching could not be expanded to the great public unless it was a printing invention. Books. We don't read books anymore, because everything, but seems to us open, is on the net. But we are crossing a great revolution in our times, because since we are living the revolution, we don't notice this is a revolution, but we are living in revolutionary times, no doubt about it. Questions?
No, Leti, just to say that it's a very interesting topic, and to see these historic backgrounds and the relations, the periods, it makes for me it's very exciting because we can feel this atmosphere. It's like we can take a step back and watch these beautiful relations being after they actually happen. This is the advantage of living after this. We can see all the everything that happened, and it's quite beautiful. Thank you for bringing this character and teaching us these stories.
Thank you. It's for Kevin. Kevin found a book and he showed us that it's an excellent book, and there's a lot to say about it. But now this session is open for your questions, and you can ask whatever you like regarding the text or any questions that comes to your mind. Venus, please feel free.
I just wanted if you could summarize the difference between putting the comma early, before or after this word. What are the implications of this interpretation?
Okay.
In a
Le-
hidden way.
In a hidden way. Okay.
Because we already see that putting the comma after, it's about after the Jordan.
Yes.
The duality.
Excellent. The Jordan is very good, Felipe. The Jordan, yes, is the border between the one and the duality. Be'ever hayarden, how ever, please pay attention, whatever he says here, beyond the Jordan, behind the way. The English says beyond the Jordan. How do we say beyond? Felipe, can you read this word?
Yes, be'ever.
Be'ever. Be'ever, when the bet is utilized like in. What is ever?
Beyond.
Yes.
It's on the other side.
Yes. What else? Ein beteres.
The root.
The root of?
The root of Ivrit.
Ivrit. Very good. The root of Ivrit. Ever. Ever. Leshon ever. Very good. Let's find a place. And Ibur also. Very good. So we have. Where is the pen? Hello. I don't have a connection. Here it is. That's good what you said. I would like to let's write all of this with you. Okay, we have ever. I'm sorry that the connection is not. What happens if we open the word ever into numbers, because it's beyond ever?
272.
272. Yes. What happens if we say 2 times 72? What do we have?
144.
Very good. Very good. Be'ever hayarden. Ever hayarden, when crossing the Jordan after. Crossing the Jordan after. This is the difference, Felipe. Ever hayarden, the Jordan Valley is the separator that separates the one from the many. עבר הירדן, בעבר, because it's בעבר, not just ever, crossing the Jordan. בעבר הירדן, בעבר, duality, הירדן, אחרי. So it starts with the duality, crossing the Jordan, and when we're crossing the Jordan, this is אחרי, this is after, or behind. It's not the origin, the one, kedem or emet. Because where did Moses die? On which side of the Jordan? Har HaAvarim, Mount Nebo. Where this is also interesting because Moses died on Har HaAvarim, mountain Abarim, to cross, or Nevo. Where was the mountain? Did Moses enter the promised land, west side to the Jordan? Yes or no? No.
No.
No. So he, in a way, passed away or moved to the one. This is why he did not enter the land of Canaan or duality. Because he is the one, he is with reason. People say, oh, okay, he did a mistake and so he did not enter. No, this is not his realm. The Zohar says that Moses' face is like the face of the sun. Pnei Moshe kifnei Chama. What does it mean, Pnei Moshe? The inner. His inner is like the sun. He's in a constant dialogue with the Logos. Ufnei Yoshua, and the face of Joshua, kifnei Levana, like the face of the moon. Those are two images. Again, Pnei Moshe kifnei Chama. The face of Moses, or the inner of Moses, is like the sun. Ufnei Yoshua, and the face of Joshua is like the face of the sun. Like the face of the moon. Levana. I'm moving between many languages. I will write it. Why is that? Why does Zohar use this language? So the face of Moses is like the sun. The face of Joshua, or the inner, is like the moon. This is why Moses does not have to enter the promised land in a way. Because he has it. It's not his domain. This is why Joshua enters with them to the promised land, and the first city that they take, which city do they take? You remember? Jericho. Jericho holds the letters of Yareach. Yareach is a moon. This is moon. Yes. Because here if we want to put on this map the 10 spheres, Moses is like here, the 3 upper spheres, the virtue, Segol, this is here, east to the Jordan, this is where Moses is, and Joshua is where the 7 spheres are, here. This is it. This is the 3. This is beyond time and space. This is where Moses is. This is why he does not enter the land. And Joshua is with the 7 days of the week with time and space. And the first city that he takes is Jericho, the city of the moon. This is the city west to the Jordan. This is where the moon is. East, here. This is why the verse here says, let's here, אחרי דרך מבוא השמש. The way the sun is coming in the west is where the sun is coming. מבוא השמש, the sun is coming, because the course of the sun is like from the east to the west. This is it, so to speak. Like this. Please pay attention that the verse itself does not in a way describe a geographical description of a map, but is more mental. Like there are many triangles. דרך מבוא השמש, דרך is via, or the way that the sun comes, meaning the sun is always coming from east to west, בארץ הכנעני, in the land of the Canaanite, היושב, please pay attention, היושב בערבה, which is sitting in the Araba, מול הגלגל, against the Gilgal, אצל, by the oaks of Moreh. This is very interesting because this is not a geographical description at all. In a way, this is a description where the mental mind of a person who does not know God yet. Questions so far?
In this way, I was reading the words after the Ahachi.
Yes.
We have something interesting also, since you mentioned the sun and Moses. The way of the going down of the sun. דרך מבוא השמש.
Yes.
What these three words, in this way they form another phrase, another meaning.
Yes.
Only these three words.
Yes. Yes. The way that the sun comes, דרך מבוא השמש. Because in Hebrew there is a term that says when the sun is rising and when the sun is coming. When the sun is coming, וזרח השמש, when the sun is shining, excuse me, וזרח השמש, let's do it here. וזרח השמש, this is shining. זרח, shine. ובא השמש. ובא comes, it means comes down. When the sun is coming down, it means when the evening comes. So this is west. So to your question or distinction, דרך מבוא השמש, דרך מבוא השמש explains in a way. Let's move to another color. I'm in blue here. This is how Moses reads the verse. He puts comma after אחרי. הלא המה בעבר הירדן אחרי, דרך מבוא השמש. The way that the sun comes, meaning when the day moves to the evening time. But we don't speak about the day, we speak about the body, the human body that makes a shadow that goes. The human body is evening, and the human soul is the sun. So, do you understand, Felipe?
Yes, I think. Yes, thank you.
Very good distinction. This is interesting because Eliyahu here, Elia Levita's show that, and here in the book, Ezra is mentioned. Ezra, the author or the writer, he explained in this text that Kevin sent to us, to me, that in the way we read a verse, there is understanding already which is cut. And if I think that once Fernando was mentioning this, the Torah was not written with nikud, meaning with vowels, commas, and te'amim, and the Torah itself is a comment, how do you say, is a sequence of letters. And at the moment, this is how we read it, but every person can make a pausa or read the letters as he wish. This is one way to read, the way we read now with the common commas. But this is what Elia is trying to say here. What was Moses doing? Basically reading them the Torah, and whenever he used to pause, לעצור, להפסיק, there's a pasuk, not just verse. There are people here teaching law. In English we say verdict. This is the decision of the judge, is called verdict. In Hebrew we say, and this is the interesting part, psak, din. When judgment makes a pausa and there's a decision. Psak, din. This is verdict. Verdict, psak, din. And what happens if we add vav? We have pasuk, verse. Questions?
Thank you to share all of this with us. And Venus wrote on YouTube, what did Kevin wanted to show you from the 2 pages?
He wrote that it's to some people it might be sound dry, but for him it sounds interesting. And I said, Kevin, this is an excellent book. I didn't know Levitas before you introduced it to me, but I have heard of his student, Vitrebo, and we learned Vitrebo's book several months ago. There is a lesson, there is a discussion of more than 1 hour here on YouTube about Vitrebo's book, the book of the Hebrew letters that he learned from Levitas. So I was very happy that Kevin shared those pages, and I bought a book yesterday from Amazon, and it's supposed to arrive to Israel. And I hope when the book arrives we can learn more from the book. But I would like to say thank you, a great thank you for Kevin for sharing it, and wish him a very good health these days from all of us. So thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you, Felipe, Rodrigo, Venus, Jesus. Who else there? I think Yanis is also there. So dear friends, I would like to say thank you. And I hope to hear you as soon as possible in the next session that we shall have.
Thank you very much, Ed. It's an honor and a blessing to be here. And thank you very much to our friends, and see you soon. Shalom, shalom.
שלום שלום, תודה רבה.
Thank you, Eti. Thank you, friends.
Yes, Venus, yes, yes.